Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and very good afternoon to all ladies and gentlemen. My name is Norida binti Rosli, Senior Librarian from PTDI Campus UTS Gamat, Johor. First of all, I would like to welcome you to this webinar entitled An Introduction to MyRefinitive and How to Use Its Key Features, EIKON with Datastream. Okay, now I would like to advise you all, if everybody in front of your PC or laptop, you are allowed to hands-on together with our session, and you also can get your password, EIKON password from our campus librarian by chat in the chat room. Okay, a bit introduction to the speaker today. Hi, Mr. Wilson.
Hello.
Hello, hi. How are you, Mr. Wilson?
Good, yourself? I'm
Okay.
good, yourself?
All right, okay, I'm fine, thank you. Okay, shall we start, Mr. Wilson? Okay, a bit introduction, yeah. Okay, a bit introduction to the Mr. Wilson background. Today we will have a sharing session from the Refinitive trainer before the presentation begins. Please allow me to introduce the trainer for today's webinar. Okay. As we all know, our speaker is Mr. Wilson Teo. He was positioned as the Academy Manager at Refinitive, who has over a decade of experience training central banks, buy-side and sell-side institutions, as well as corporate and academic clients in Asia. Wilson strives to achieve for his trading portfolio a return of at least 1% daily, and his investment portfolio has at least 50 per annum of return since 1997. So I think you can, if you have any question, you can add at the chat room, and we will do our best to address them during the Q&A session later. Okay, without further ado, I would like to welcome the presenter, Mr. Wilson Teo, to deliver his presentation. Now, Mr. Wilson, you may present the slide, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Rosli. Thank you, everyone, for taking time off to attend this EIKON training session. Unfortunately, I'll be sharing with you in English because I'm dialing in from Singapore and I can't speak Malay. I'm so sorry. But I will try my best to go slow. All right. And like what Professor Rosli had mentioned, if you do have any questions, right, please feel free to wait for me. Wait till the session has ended. I will address them during the questions and answer segment after my presentation. So like what Rosli has mentioned, if you'd like to follow me, please feel free to do so. I will try to slow down in terms of my navigation, but please, in the interest of time, please try to follow as best as you can, all right? If you miss anything, please wait for the questions and answer. You can always ask me to repeat. The reason being is that I only have 1 hour with you and have several things to go through with you, okay? Just to manage your expectation, because there's a lot of data within EIKON, I don't have time to go through each and every apps or content. I will go through with you the more popularly used apps and contents by our clients who are, analysts, economists, corporate bankers, investment bankers, personal bankers, wealth managers, investment advisors, fund managers, etc., etc. So if any one of you here have career aspiration to want to work in the bank, the tools of the trade is actually EIKON. Sorry, can all of you mute yourself? If you don't mute yourself, there will be feedbacks like this, all right? So please try your best to mute yourself. All right, so I'm going to share with you.
Miss Anis Nabila, can you mute your microphone? Okay, thank you, Mr. Anis. Okay, Wilson?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead to share my screen. All right, if you have downloaded EIKON, right, you will look something like this. There are basically 2 versions. One version is for you to download. The other version is actually the web version. So for the downloaded version, which I strongly advise all of you to download because the speed and the performance is a lot faster. If you're not sure how to download, I can go through that later. But let me tell you, after you've downloaded the icon, right, what happened is that in your start button of your laptop or PC, you will be able to see a Refinitive folder like this. You can see it's Refinitive. If I drop down, you'll be able to see Refinitive icon as well as Refinitive icon for Microsoft Excel. You will see these two things. Now, what's so special is that this is the homepage for the platform that you are seeing. And if you go to your Excel, you just launch your Excel, right? You will have this add-on. But of course, in how do you actually load this add-on? I'll share with you later. By right, you should have this add-on where, again, you can download the data. If you study finance or investment or economics, right, at the university level, a lot of times for scientific purposes, we are dealing with a lot of time series data. So this is the Excel as well as the function where the Excel is connected to our server so that you can download time series data of any instruments that you want. Okay, but I will leave the Excel towards the end. Let me just focus more on the front interface. In the front interface, very important, you are able to see a drop down from all the various tabs here. All right. More importantly, there is a search. Okay, there's a search. Let me very briefly cover some of the key apps from this front search. Okay, then I will move on to the search here. So the tabs that you're seeing here enables you to view some information. Now, remember what I told you at the start, the tools of the trade for a doctor is the stethoscope. That's where they listen to the heart. If you have career aspiration to want to work in a bank, the tools of the trade is actually this EIKON platform. Now, why are you making use of this very expensive 2,000 US dollars per month EIKON platform? Next time when you go work in a bank, right, each of you will have your own individual account or your own individual name to log into the platform. Now, why are you making use of this platform instead of Google? I can honestly tell you that if you Google and search for any financial information or news, right, number one, the news will not be as quickly updated as what we have in this platform. Number two, not all the data are available within your Google. Whereas the data here are specially sought from contributors. Let me show you what we have. So I'm going to go to asset classes. Under asset classes, you can see there are a lot of instruments. So I'm going to briefly show you. If I go to foreign exchange, right, the home page will navigate to, the home page will navigate to foreign exchange. So you are able to see all this forex information here, as well as news. The home, if I drop down and go to Asia, again, you will be able to see a lot of different Asia currency against the US dollar, right? Including Malaysia ringgit here, okay? So this gives you a summary of all the foreign exchange in case you need the foreign exchange data. These are all the live data. Very importantly, foreign exchange are traded in the bank. So at the moment, right, all these different banks are contributing to these foreign exchange rates. Now, if I navigate away and I come to, say, fixed income, this is the place where you will be able to view your fixed income information. Let's say in Malaysia, right now you're seeing world. I can go to the drop down and then I can slowly search for Malaysia, and I'm able to see Malaysia term structure or yield curve, like what some of you will call it, right? And these are all the various yield for the various maturities. Okay, if you study bonds or you study fixed income module at the university level, you will learn more about bonds. Very quickly, I would cover all this because in your own free time, right, you can always click on this to navigate. So let me quickly move to equities. If I go to equities and indices, I'll be able to see all the indices in the whole world. Okay, So usually what bankers will do, right, when they go to office, they will want to recap what happened to the US. Now, you may be wondering, why would I want to look at US when I look at Malaysia? Is because US is still the world's largest economy. A lot of financial markets globally are connected to the US. And if I scroll down, right, I'm able to see all the Asian exchanges, including KLCI. You can see how the KLCI is performing today, right? Okay, so this is for equity indices. So I'm just going to click on the back button to toggle backwards. So the next thing I'd like to share with you very quickly, very briefly is funds. So I'm going to go to funds. Okay, funds enable you to see all the funds that are available for sale in the country. So let's say, for instance, if I drop down, right, I select Malaysia, I'm able to see the funds available for sale in Malaysia. Not only am I able to see the top performing funds available for sale in Malaysia, I can see the bottom performing funds. But all of us obviously want to invest in top performing funds. Let me click on eSpring Investment Institutional Income. I'm going to click on this. And once I click on this, right? Okay, sorry. This one doesn't have data, surprisingly. Okay, let me click on the first one. Okay, RHB Home. There's always a back button that you can click, right, to navigate backwards or forward. So for this RHB Smart Income is a mutual fund or unit trust where you can invest into. There's a professional fund manager who will help you to invest. And we do have our own proprietary ratings. It's called Lipper ratings. You can see 1 is the lowest, 5 is the highest. So these funds, right, in terms of its performance, isn't that good. If you go to quantitative analysis, you will be able to see the performance of the fund managers. Okay, you can see the performance of the fund managers. Now, if any one of you here don't understand any one of these variable that you're seeing here under technical analysis or under any of these, don't worry, because to be able to understand some of the funds here, the measurements and benchmark, at the university level, you will need to take this module called portfolio investment or investment theory. So anything to do with portfolio or investment, right? That is the module that will teach you more about portfolio theory as well as investment theory. And if any one of you here planning to take the CFA, Chartered Financial Analyst certification, you will learn a lot more about this theory as well. So I'm going to navigate backwards. Okay, I'm going to navigate back to my home page. Right, so I'm going to come back to my home page. So you can see that I'm using the back arrow to navigate back to my home page. Yeah, because I've navigated away from the home page quite a bit. So I have clicking and clicking and clicking. Here I reach the home page. Okay. Another thing that you can do once you're here is you can go to news and research and go to Reuters top news, and you'll be able to see the top news across the whole world. There are many different tabs here giving you the sub headlines. Okay, I will share with you. Okay, let's say for instance, I'm looking at Ukraine 6 ruinous sanctions on Russia as Europe hesitates. I'm going to click on this. But let's say you and I, we prefer to read this in Bahasa, right? What can I do? I can come to this particular translate here, click on translate, and I can look for Malay, right? I can look for Malay, click on Malay, and everything will be translated by Google into Bahasa. So having the icon in front of you, what you can then do is copy. Okay, I'm going to highlight everything, and I'm going to press Control C for copy. Go to my Word document, and I paste. So you have exported this into your Word document. I'm sure when you borrow the icon from the library, they can't lend you forever. So there are some things that you like to export or extract from icon, right? Like for instance, the news. You can always copy Control C, press Control and C, and then paste into your Word document, all right? So that you can read more about them at your own pace. Alternatively, if you're in a school library, and again, you want to save some of the news document, right? You can go to your Gmail account and paste it to your Gmail account so that you can send to yourself, refer to that later. All right. So going back to the news, so this is the news, all right? So top news enables you to view all the news in the whole world. And you can see that these are real time. Okay, these are real time as well. Very important if any one of you want to do research and if you are given assignment by your professor, right? What you want to do to show off your knowledge is that you want to show that you are very familiar with the current market developments. And one way to look at the current market development is, of course, to come to news so that you can find out more about, say, energy, or maybe you come to markets, go to global markets to give you a summary and insights into what's happening in the global market, whether will Russia default, whether will oil prices continue to go up into the future, what will happen to the aggressive Fed balance sheet that they're going to implement in May. All the information are here, and this will surely impact the Malaysia financial market because all the financial markets in the whole world are interconnected and interdependent. So I'm going to go back again, right? I'm going to click backwards. So I'm back to my homepage. Remember what I told you? I told you that I want to briefly go through all this before I come to the search here, right? So in the search here, right, we have couple of what is called overviews. What are overviews? Overviews give you information about that instrument or an instrument. Let me give you an example. If I'm interested to find out more about Malaysia ringgit, dollar against Malaysia ringgit, especially if I'm doing a course on treasury or foreign exchange, right? I can always type in Malaysia ringgit as MYR, which is the symbol. You can see that always in the suggested drop down, we have all kinds of mnemonics. You can see all the mnemonics here. These shortcut keys are all mnemonics in any financial data platforms. Okay, so dollar against ringgit, the mnemonic which is proprietary to Refinitive EIKON is actually MYR equal. So when you click on MYR equal, what happened is that you can see a pop-up. All right, you can see a pop-up. This pop-up will show you the FX spot overview because this is a spot rate. If you're not familiar with spot, don't worry. Later when you study that course, like I said, foreign exchange and money market or even treasury, depending on what your university calls it, you will learn more about foreign exchange. So for the moment now, right, you can see the foreign exchange chart. And if I want 5 years, I can see 5 years worth of dollar, US dollar against Malaysia ringgit, or I can see the maximum. Okay, I can click on maximum to see the maximum. Sorry, it's still loading. Because I'm in Singapore, I'm working from home, so my home internet is quite slow. And coupled with the fact that we are using WebEx, it further kind of slow down the speed. Okay, I think you understand what I mean. You just have to click along here to get the chart that you want to view. Okay, it's taking some time to load. So for interest of time, I will leave you to explore all the other tabs because it's really very straightforward. I'll just close this. The next popularly asked for a request or instrument that a lot of people will want to search for is company overview. What is company overview? Say, for instance, I'm interested in Tesla. I want to buy Tesla. I can click on Tesla, okay? And I can open this up and I'm able to see all the tabs here related to Tesla, okay? Not only can I do it for Tesla, let me show you another one before I move on to a Malaysia company. Let's say I want Apple, so I key in Apple. I can just key in the name of the company. Okay, you can see Apple Incorporated. You can see the mnemonic, which is AAPL.O. .O means it's listed in New York, Nasdaq Stock Exchange, sorry. And I can click on this. Once I click on the drop down, the suggested drop down, expand the company overview. Again, this is called company overview. It's very different from the other overviews that I will be showing you later. You can see all the various tabs here relating to Apple. Let me quickly explain. I'm going to close this and I'm going to make use of something that all of you are familiar with, and that's Tanaga National Berhad. You can see that I did not key in the full name because I'm familiar with the mnemonic or the shortcut key, which is TENA.KL. That means it's listed in KL. And I'm just going to use my mouse to click on this and I will launch the company overview. Now, I'm going to spend a little bit of time explaining this company overview. Of course, there are many information in the drop down. I don't have time today to explain everything, but I'll explain to you the key ones. So very importantly, in overview, right, you get to understand what is the business. There's a business summary. There are latest news pertaining to the company, all the information pertaining to the price of the stock. And then you scroll down, right, you will be able to see estimates. You'll be able to see certain proprietary models that we have. I'll come to that later. Okay, so let me go to news and research. Now, if any of your professor asks you to pick a stock and then present information about the stock, whether you think the stock is good or bad, usually for equities, right, there's usually an equities module in the university level. So what some of the students will want to do is come to news and research and go to company research. Within company research, right, this is where you get all the research reports. You can see all the research reports here, right? And let's say I can see Maybank Kim Eng research report on Tanaga National. I can click on this. You can see that there'll be a pop-up, and this pop-up will show me the PDF to this research report by Maybank Kim Eng, okay? And I'm going to see the research report about the company. Usually, the professor assignment will either require you to talk about what you call that, the pros and cons of a company business, or ask you to perform some kind of valuation. All right, so you can see Maybank Kim Eng is actually giving a hold for Tanaga National. And if I close this, right, like I said, there are a lot of research reports that you can view. You can even come to here to filter for all of them. Over the past 90 days, right, there were 74 research reports on Tanaga. So for any stocks, listed companies that you are researching on, you come to here to research the company, and you can launch the company overview. And then you come to news and research, go to company research, you'll be able to download any research reports that you want. Next thing I'd like to share with you is very quickly. Now, I'll come to statement view under estimates. Now, what are estimates? Estimates are forecasts. Usually, Refinitive, because we are a data vendor, we do not provide any forecast because we do not hire any equity analysts. So the forecasts that you are seeing here are extracted from the various research reports. So you can see under here, single contributor, you are able to see all the contributors here. Let's say if I go to Maybank and Kim Eng, right? I'm able to see Maybank and Kim Eng forecast for Tanaga revenue in 2022, 2023 fiscal year and 2024 fiscal year. So they forecast for 3 years ahead. I'm able to see it. Also, a very important thing, because we are able to get the research reports from all the various contributors. If you go follow me to recommendation and target price under the tab estimates, right, you will be able to see the consensus. Consensus means what does the all the analysts, who are all the analysts that covers Tanaga. If I scroll down, right, you are able to see all the analysts that covers Tanaga. Very importantly, what happened is that in different research reports, you are able to see different recommendations. I'll give you an example. You can see that this Maybank Kim Eng gives a buy. All right, you can see a number 1 here. And if you look at AM Investment also have a buy recommendation in their research report. But how come there's a number 2 here? Okay, let me explain. Refinitive, in order for our clients to compare Apple against Apple, we actually developed a standard recommendation list here. You can see a standard recommendation. 1 is a strong buy, 2 is a buy, 3 is a hold, 4 is a sell, 5 is a strong sell. if you look at all the research reports out there, right, you realize that within the research reports, usually the banks or the broker will explain to you their methodology on how they calibrate buy, hold, and sell. So different banks and different brokers will have different methodologies. But what Refinitive had done is that we standardized all of them for you. In other words, right, if you take a look at Maybank Keeping Buy, Maybank Keeping Buy is a 1. Whereas, let's go down, right, you look at M Investment. M Investment Buy is actually a 2. So what does that mean? It means that Maybank Buy, even though they call it a buy, right, but because we have converted, standardized all the recommendation, Maybank Buy is actually a strong buy because it's 1. Whereas M Investment Buy is actually only a buy. Now, over the last 3 months, January, February, and March, you can see the number of analysts giving a strong buy, giving a buy, hold, sell. Then, if you add up all the recommendations here, right, you can see the numbers, add up all the numbers here, divide by total number of analysts, you arrive at 2.3. 2.3 is very close to a buy on the a standardized scale. So you can see that the average or the consensus recommendation is actually a buy. Now, if you follow me, come to the target price, right? The problem with the target price is that it has some very old data. Like for instance, can you see where my mouse is? You can see June 2021, you can see November, all right? So all these analysts, right, did not update the target price at all because now you know, you and I know that there's actually a Russia-Ukraine conflict, and therefore the whole financial market has changed due to a lot of change to the oil and gas prices, to the supply chain, etc., right? But all these analysts did not update their target price. Therefore, the consensus target price that you see here, 11.14 ringgit, is wrong. Not that it's wrong. What I mean is that it's not fresh. So how do we arrive at this target price of $11, 11.14 ringgit? If you add up all the target price given within each research reports, right, divide by total number of analysts, you will get the mean or the average. So you can see the mean here and the momentum of the mean. You can see from 11.56 in January, right now it dropped to 11.14. You can see that it's decreasing. Likewise, the median, which is the center target price, has also decreased. Okay. Now, all the recommendations that you see here, as well as the target price, if I'm going to sort by analyst recommendation rating, you can see that not every analyst have a 5-star ratings. Different analysts have different number of ratings because at Refinitive, we do monitor and we do track the analyst performance. What do I mean by we do track? If I move my mouse over Edwin Huang Investment Bank, right, I can see Chi Hong Ng, all right, and I can click on his analyst app here. It will launch for me this analyst app. Now, this analyst app is very powerful because I can see this particular Edwin Huang Investment Bank analyst, Chi Hun Ng. I can see all the stocks, all the other stocks that this person is covering, this analyst is covering, apart from Tanaga. Okay, you can see Tanaga here. You can see his overall performance. In terms of estimate accuracy, it's at 59th percentile. In terms of recommendation performance, it's only at 38th percentile. In other words, this analyst is not that accurate. Now, in order for all our clients in Refinitive, right, all over the world, to because all these recommendations that you're seeing here, they are all equally weighted. What do I mean by equally weighted? Remember, I told you how we arrive at a 2.3. We add up all the numbers here, divide by total number of analysts, you get this consensus recommendation of 2.3. Now, that's not accurate. Why is this not accurate? Because the consensus recommendation here does not account for the accuracy of the analysts, nor do they account for the freshness of the research report. So what Refinitive had done is that we have our own special proprietary model known as the StarMine model. So I'm going to go to an example of this proprietary model called Analyst Revision Model. This Analyst Revision Model, it's what we call within the company, right, StarMind. There's a separate training for StarMind. It takes about 1 hour. And you can see that instead of a buy, right, Tanaga is actually a hold. I don't know about you, but in Singapore and in US, right, whenever you have a hold recommendation, some people will interpret it as if you're holding on to the stock, you should be selling. All right. Because a hold is not exactly a buy, hold is like a wait and see. Now, what exactly are we revising for? According to Refinitive backtesting, we have realized that there are 4 variables within the research report that are very consistent across all kinds of research report, regardless of whether the research report is a 1-page or 100 pages. Usually will contain variables like revenue, EBITDA, earnings per share, and recommendation, right? So what we are revising for in our StarMind model is that we give greater weightings to analysts who are more accurate, and we give greater weightings to research reports that are fresher. Remember, I told you some of the research reports, right? The target price are not fresh at all. So we are given greater weightings to research reports that are fresher and greater weightings to analysts who are more accurate. We don't want to give equal weighting. So, which is why the true Tanaga recommendation is a hold, not a buy. Okay. If any one of you here want to know more about StarMind, right, you can always type in StarMind and go to our StarMind overview. Now, some of you may be wondering, hey, Wilson, how do you know what to type in? Okay, before I explain to you, let me show you the StarMind models. We have several StarMind models, and just now what I showed to you was the analyst revision model. So within the analyst revision model, we will explain to you our proprietary algorithm. Okay, we will explain to you our proprietary algorithm. Now, very quickly, okay, how do I know what to type in here, especially in terms of the apps, right? If I go to the icon drop down, there's actually an app library. If I click on the app library, right, this is a place where you will be able to find all kinds of apps. This is similar to your smartphone app store. Okay, I know that your smartphone app store have a lot of apps. Some of the apps are free, some of the apps are payable. 90% of all the apps that you see here are free. So you can actually just open any one of these and you can make use of the apps. But there are, the last time I count, there are approximately 400 over apps. I don't have time to show you every one of them. They are categorized according to things like analytics and calculators, charting, company, okay? Or if you come to below, you can see equities, or you can see fixed income, okay? All the apps are here, enables you to do further analysis. Just stop right here. Now, if you want to know more about StarMind, just type in StarMind here and you can learn all our proprietary information and how to sharpen your analysis of a company. Next, I'll go to financial. If I go to income statements is where you are able to see the audited financial report. In the past, right, if you are not using a platform like EIKON, what happened is that you will then need to go to the company, let's say Tanaga National Berhad, right? You need to go to the company website and you need to download the annual report 1 year at a time, right? The financial report it goes by calendar year, and there are many annual reports that you can download. But with this particular platform, right, you can see that I have all the annual reports here. Okay, all periods. That means I have all the way until 1996 without downloading any one of it. Okay, you can see that it's very convenient for me to extract. Very importantly, you are now viewing standardized. What is standardized? Let me go to as reported first, okay? Easier for you to understand. So if I go to as reported and I set it as all periods, that means I'm able to see all periods. Anytime you want to download any information, right, like annual report, this is the income statements. We have income statements, balance sheet, cash flow statements, etc. All you have to do, there's an Excel button here. Can you see all of you? I know a lot of students love this Excel button. So I'm showing you the Excel button. I can click on the Excel button. Okay. And then you can see that the Excel I've downloaded, click on open, and I go to my Excel that I have prepared, and it will just automatically download the reports. Do I want to download? Do I want to open? Yes. And you can see that very quickly I have downloaded the income statements, unlike if you don't have the platform, you have to manually go to each and every annual report from the company website to download it. So you can see here, it's already downloaded all the way to 1996. Okay, I've downloaded more than 20 years of financial reports very easily into my Excel. If I like to see the trend of the total revenue, right, you can see that if I move my mouse over the total revenue, there's a chart. I can click on the chart and I'm able to see the chart. Okay, if I don't want the chart, I can click on close and I can remove. If I don't understand what's total revenue, I can click on the question mark. It will give me the definition. Okay, what else can I do? Now, if I want to compare these electric utilities in Malaysia against another stock, another listed company in another country, can I do it or not? The answer is no. Why? Because different countries have different accounting or auditing regulations or standards. But what I can do to compare Tanaga National, which is an electric utilities company, against similar electric utilities company that are listed elsewhere in the world, I can compare apple and apple by going to the drop down and selecting standardized. Once I've selected standardized, what happened is that it will all standardize the standard of reporting into International Financial Reporting Standard, IFRS. Now, because it is making use of IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standard, again, you can see that there's revenue, there's total revenue, but unlike as reported, you do not see all the other breakdown. So if I go to total revenue here, I want to do an audit trail back to the original as reported. As reported means what I see in the financial report is what I see here. I can click on this and I can do an audit trail. It will lead me back to the original figure. Okay, so this is how you can download this. Again, there's an Excel here. You can download the Excel so you can compare apple and apple against all other similar companies listed anywhere else in the world. You don't have to worry about different accounting standards anymore. Once again, if I go to as reported, right, just for you to compare, you can see the breakdown. I can even click on the figure, okay, and it will launch for me the annual report, and I'm able to see the figure 52,630, very, very specific location within the annual report. Sorry, because this is an annual report, it takes some time to load. You can see that the figure is loaded 52629.5. This has been rounded up to 52630. Okay, it will highlight for me where exactly this figure was extracted within the annual financial report. Apart from this, if I go to segments, if and only if, I repeat, if and only if is given, the information is given within the financial report. Otherwise, you do not see anything at all. It's not that EIKON doesn't carry, but it is not within the audited financial report. Likewise, if I go to major customer, you see no major customers is reported. So again, I do not see this. Ratios, key metrics, especially for some of you who are going to do financial analysis, we have a prepared one, ratio key metrics. Again, you can extract this and download into your Excel by looking at the Excel icon that is found here. Very quickly, I'm running out of time. I'm going to go to ESG. ESG shows you environmental, social, and governance, all right? So this is very important. This is the hottest thing right now, especially in the area of investment. Refinitive EIKON, we do have our ESG data. If you want to read more about ESG data, I suggest to you to search for ESG. How do I know what to search for? If you go to your app library, once again, remember I show you app library, right? Everything that I'm showing you today are all available within the app library. All right, so ESG, I'm going to key in ESG again. There's a suggested drop down. It says environmental, social, and governance. I'm going to click on this and I'm able to see my ESG. I'm able to see more explanation on Refinitive ESG. Very importantly, you can download the ESG methodology here. All right. If not, you can always have a separate session with me. And you can see that the ESG score for Tanaga is actually a C+. All right. Moving on, if I go to ownership, I go to ownership summary, I can see who are the major shareholder of Tanaga. You can see there's Khazanah at 25.59%. and I can see what are the recent buys and sell for Tanaga. If I go to debt structure, I can see the debt structure for Tanaga. Okay, if I go to 2025, I can see all the bonds that are maturing in 2025 issued by Tanaga. I can see the debt summary here. If I go to peers and valuation, go to value chain, I'm able to see this is very, very interesting. I can see a spider web for Tanaga. What do I mean? This is the table showing all the relationship amongst the supplier and customer. So if I go to industry breakdown, I can see where my mouse is. I'm going to go to industry breakdown. I'm able to do an industry breakdown here. This is very important because if any suppliers business are affected, it will affect Tanaga. If any of the customers have some problem, it will also affect Tanaga. So a lot of analysts, equity analysts, right, love this simply because they are able to trace the suppliers and the customers' relationship. If anything happened to the suppliers, they know what to do with the expense within the income statements. If anything happened to the customers, again, we will know how this company is impacted. So I'm just going to close this very quickly. Go back to my homepage. You can see here. What else can you search for within your EIKON? Another thing, if you are learning about bonds, right, you can actually key in the ISIN. ISIN stands for International Securities Identification Number. So I'm going to key in MYBPO 140024. This is an ISIN. Okay, this is the way to search for bonds. If I click on this, it will launch for me a bonds overview. Remember what I've shown you? I've shown you FX, foreign exchange overview. Just now, I've shown you company overview. This is a bonds overview. You can see the tabs here are actually very different from company overview. Let me go to company overview again, okay, for Tanaga. You can see that both the company overview and the bonds overview, they are Tanaga. So if you take a look at the bonds overview, right, you can see the tabs here for bonds overview where my mouse is pointing. It's very different from company overview, which I've shown to you just now. So like I said, we have many different types of overview. Within a bonds overview, under calculators, if you go to bond calculator, right, you will be able to see your bonds calculator. Okay, let me just expand this. So for bonds calculator, very quickly, very briefly, if you're the bond salesperson were to quote you 103%, enter, you are able to calculate the yield. So this is something that you learn in your financial instrument, how the price and yield are affected. Let's say if I key in a yield of 4%, the price will be recalculated. You can see it's 102.76. So yield goes up, price come down. Okay, so there's a lot of information about bonds. I will keep it for another session. For today's session, just to manage your expectation, I'm just giving you an overview. So this is bonds overview. Let me go to the last overview. I'm going to key KLCI. KLCI is your index, equity index overview. So I'm going to click on the drop down and go to equity index overview. Now, once again, why are you learning this? Very importantly, like I told you, if you're going to go work in a bank, it's very important for you to get information from a professional platform. You're not going to use your Google because your Google will not have all this information. For instance, if I go to Constituents Analysis, right, I'm able to analyze or better analyze the equity index KLCI constituents. So I can see these are the list of stocks that is within the KLCI. There are 30 of them. If I go to leavers and joiners, I'm able to see which company have left, which company have joined. You can see these leavers. I can go to joiners and I'm able to see joiners as well. Okay, so this is the KLCI text. I'm going to go to another app. This app is quite important. Let's say, for instance, if I want to find out more information about Malaysia, I can enter Malaysia and you take me to country overview. Okay, country overview. Now, this is very powerful because this is, again, because we are making use of a professional platform, right? This is something that Google cannot have. You can see that Google will not enable to give you financial information and economic information all on one page. Okay. And if I go to financial markets overview here, I'm able to see the entire overview of Malaysia financial markets from fixed income to equity to FX to money market. I'm able to see the benchmark bonds for Malaysia. I'm able to see the FX rates for Malaysia, the credit default swap rates for Malaysia, the swap rates for Malaysia, Sukuk bonds for Malaysia. Okay, everything in one glance. If I go to central bank overview, I'm able to see who is the central banker. Is Datuk Shamsia. Sorry if I pronounced the name incorrectly. I'm able to see the policy rate, which is at 1.75%. Okay, so very important. This is country overview. What else can I share with you before we come to the end of the class? Okay, the next app that I want to share with you, remember all apps are available within the app library, which is similar to your app store in your smartphones, where you are able to just make use of any apps, right? Let me quickly share this. This is your app library. Just click on the icon button here, get to the app library. There's a lot of tools that you can make use of for your analysis. So one of the tools that a lot of academics and professor likes, as well as a lot of economy strategists, analysts, fund managers, investment advisors like, is this tool called Datastream Chart. So for Datastream Chart, right, just now I show you more about EIKON. For this Datastream Chart, it enables you to plot very beautiful chart for your research report. Let me show you. You can see that I've selected Malaysia. But if you don't want Malaysia, you want another country, you can just go ahead to go to the drop down and search for any country that you like. But since I've selected Malaysia, I'll stick to Malaysia. Very importantly, you can see this is key indicators tab. Key indicators tab will show me all the key indicators within Malaysia. The key indicators that we have here on the table is national accounts, money and finance, prices, labor market, consumer sector, industry sector, just to name a few. So if I go to GDP, right, I can look at the preview of this chart by clicking on the site. All right, I'm able to see a preview of this GDP chart. Okay, so what I can then do is I'm going to close this. Let's say if I'm interested to make use of this chart, what do? I move my mouse against this particular GDP, and I want to look at it in new chart, view new chart. I can click on view new chart. It will take me from the key indicators to the center chart here. Okay, and I'm able to see the GDP. It plot for me a very beautiful chart. Am I done with this? No. The GDP time series that you're seeing here is actually in absolute number. But most of us are familiar with GDP in terms of percentages. So what can you do to transform this GDP chart? I'm going to do it very slowly. I'm going to move my mouse over the transformation. I'm going to go to percentage change. All right, you can see there's a drop down. I'm going to go to 1 year. 1 year means I want the absolute GDP to become in percentage and to be in year and year. So I'm going to click on 1 year, and immediately you can see that it has transformed into 1 year. Not only that, if I move my mouse here, I can see that for GDP for Malaysia is starting from 2016. So the start date, right, instead of base, I'm just going to delete base. You can delete this, overwrite this, and I'm going to put 2016, enter. The reason why I'm doing this is so that I want all the charts, all the time series that I'm going to add further to start from 2016 to align with my GDP. So the next chart or the next time series I want to add is the Klci, because I want to see the correlation between the performance of the economic growth as well as the exchange equity index. So I'm going to go to find new series. Now, when you launch find new series in your data stream, you will always see the previous user search. Okay, this search, right, has a name. It's called Datastream Navigator. It's very important for you to learn the names because if you ever reach out to the help desk, when they explain to you, right, they'll tell you, okay, you need to go to Navigator to look for the time series. At least you know what is a navigator. The navigator is a very specific search pertaining to your data stream. So what you need to do whenever you're making use of your navigator is to clear all. Let me just expand this for your viewing pleasure. And then I'm going to key in Klci. Okay, Klci. and then I'm going to click on search. Okay, because KLCI is an equity index, so there are different categories here. I'm just going to narrow down the search by going to equity indices, click on equity indices. Okay, and I'm able to see all the various KLCI, but this is the one that I want, which is in Malaysia Ringgit. And I can pin it here. You see, I can pin it here. Once I pin this here, right, it won't, even if I move my mouse across all the other currency KLCI, it will not change. You can see it shows me a preview of the time series, gives you some data information pertaining to any time series that you're searching for. If I'm happy with this time series which I want, all I need to do is to click on this symbol here. As you can see where my mouse is, click on this and it will appear in this row. Now that it appears in this row, some of you are wondering, how come my GDP suddenly gone flat? The reason why the GDP has gone flat, and you can see the KLCI here, is because they are sharing the same y-axis. Okay, they are sharing the same y-axis. What I need to do is to go to either line. Okay, I can go to line 1, edit, or I can go to line 2 to edit. Click on edit, and then I shift the KLCI. Instead of sharing the same y-axis, which is different, KLCI is in absolute number, the GDP of Malaysia is in percentages. So I shift this KLCI time series to be making use of the right y-axis, and the GDP of Malaysia to be making use of the left y-axis. So there's no conflict. So I go to OK, and you can see that the orange line is in percentages. It gives me the it gives me the Malaysia GDP. The right y-axis is in absolute number. It gives me the KLCI index level. Okay. The next thing I want to do is, of course, put a title. So I'm going to go to chart setting. Click on chart setting, and I'm going to give it a title: Malaysia GDP versus KLCI. Okay. Malaysia GDP versus KLCI. Go to title. Make sure that it is center align. Okay, under title is center align. Click on OK. All right, I got my title there. If this is a very beautiful chart that you want to make use in your presentation, what can you do? You can always come to where my mouse is, copy chart image and clipboard. You see, if I hover my mouse over this icon, right, it says copy chart image to clipboard. So I'm going to click on this copy chart image to clipboard. Once it's copied, I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to go to my PowerPoint and paste. Okay, so I can do my presentation, or I can go to my Word document. In case if I'm doing my assignment in my Word document, I can go to my Word document, and once again, I can, of course, paste. Okay, then I can explain. You know, usually like research reports, a chart paints 1,000 words. You can always explain from your Word document or even your PowerPoint slides. So going back to Datastream here once again. Now, if I go to chart book here, which is the next tab, very interestingly, right, you are able to find a lot of pre-built charts. Let me show you how easy it is to make use of these. Okay, I move this aside. If I'm going to enter Malaysia in the box and I hit enter, right, I'm able to see all the charts pertaining to Malaysia. You can see how beautiful they are, right? And if I ever want to make use of any one of them, let's say Malaysia industrial production, I can click on this. Right, I've clicked on this, so it's loading. It takes me back to the center chart. I'm able to see this beautiful chart on Malaysia industrial production. What do I do next? Once again, I move my mouse over this icon, click on this icon, go to my PowerPoint. Okay, I'm going to click on OK. Go to my Word document. All right, and what I can do is, of course, paste. So I can see this industrial production. Same thing, if I like to paste it into my PowerPoint, I can click on paste. I get the Malaysia industrial production. So once again, we do have a lot of pre-built chart in Chartbook, but you must first enter DS chart in your search to launch your data stream. And there's a lot of charts that you can make use of. You can see that there are a lot of different charts here. You can look at the preview of the charts. Let's say Malaysia non-farming loans. click on this, you can see Malaysia non-farming loan. Some of the charts, right, are actually available within the research reports from banks because, like I told you, banks and brokers are also making use of our EIKON, right? One last thing before I go, some of the key themes. A lot of key themes, right? These days, people are looking for COVID-19 data. So if I go to COVID-19 data, I can go to country overview, see if I can find. Okay, I can't find Malaysia here. Okay, let's say if I have China. Okay, this is China. Oh, sorry, I should go to global overview. Yeah, case tracker. This is case tracker. Sorry about that. So if I go to cumulative cases, right, I'll be able to see cumulative cases of COVID all around the world. And if you want to make use of the chart to explain yourself, you can. There's a lot of previous charts here for you to navigate and make use of in Datastream chart. Okay, I know I'm running out of time. One last thing, I'm sure you guys will like this. ADVRES is actually your research advanced search. Now, once again, if you're wondering, how do I know what to type? Remember, I told you, if you go to your app library, in your app library, you'll be able to find all the various functions. So ADVRES, right, is a function that a lot of students like. Okay, I've taught students in Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, as well as Malaysia in the past, and a lot of them like this. Let me just click on it. Why? Because this advanced research search, right? Let me click on the old layout. This is the new layout. There's nothing wrong with the new layout, but I think the old layout is something that's more intuitive. So let me show you the old layout. And you are able to see the old layout here. And what it does once again is that it consolidates all the research reports in the world here. So if I come to the filters at the side, is to narrow down the search. So I'm going to go to countries and I'm going to search for Malaysia. I want all the research reports from Malaysia. You can see I've checked Malaysia, right? Malaysia. Click on done, click on search. So over the last 90 days, right, I'm able to see all the research reports for Malaysia. I can see RHB reports here. Okay, I can see a lot of research reports from Malaysia. There are 19,406 of them. Okay, so this is something that you can make use of. Another thing that students like, especially in their assignment, is screener. So if I go to screener, right, I'll be able to see how do you search for some of the stocks in Malaysia. So what you do is you want to launch the filter. So this is the launch data item. Okay, I can launch the filter. You are able to screen out for any stocks in the world by making use of some of the fields here. Let me give you an example. If I enter exchange, I can have country of exchange. Click on this and click on OK. So I'll tell the system to search for stocks only from Malaysia. I check Malaysia, click on done, and it will show me the list of stocks only from Malaysia, not anywhere in the world. I can see that 978 of them. I can go to company market cap. Okay, go to company market cap. Let's say in Malaysia, I only want to invest in stocks that are worth at least $100 million in terms of market cap. I can key in $100 million, right? Sorry, this billion really. Okay, I can key in $100 billion, $100 million here. Oh, sorry, this is billion. Okay, let's see if there's a billion-dollar company in Malaysia. Sorry, it's taking some time to load. Okay, so out of 978 stocks, there are 76 stocks that are worth at least $1 billion. So the next thing I like to do, once again, I click on this launch data item library. I click on the box here. It will launch for me this box that have a lot of fields. Let's say I want PE. I can search for stocks with PE. If I want dividend, right, I can narrow down the equities or the list of stocks by making use of dividend or even ROE. Okay, but right now I like to search for recommendation. Remember, I teach you about recommendation, right? So there's recommendation 1 to 5. I'm going to select this. And remember, I told you if the recommendation is less than 2, it's actually a strong buy and a buy. So basically, what I'm trying to tell the system is that out of 76 stocks that have at least that's worth at least $1 billion, I only want stocks that are given a buy or strong buy in KLSE. So I can see there are only 28 stocks in KLSE with at least a buy or strong buy. Remember, I told you 1 or 2, 1 is a strong buy, 2 is a buy. So these are the list of stocks. Again, I can check all of them. I can export this into my Excel. So I can click on export all into Excel, click on open, and I can put them into my Excel. Let me show you my Excel. So sorry, let me just overrun by 5 minutes, all right? I will show you the Excel bit. Okay, so I've exported all my search result, my screening results into Excel. There are 28 stocks in Malaysia, KRSE, that's worth at least $1 billion and have a recommendation of buy or strong buy. Let me quickly share with you one last thing before I end the class, which is the Excel. Remember I told you in Excel, right? Okay, if I go to templates here, you can see a lot of templates. These are pre-built financial models that you can make use of. There are approximately 300 of them. Let me give you one example, and I do one last thing before I end the class, all right? So I'm waiting for it to load. Usually you have to pause for a few seconds. Okay, it's loaded. You can see there are 299 of these pre-built models. They are sorted according to these various categories here, as well as these various asset classes, as well as languages. Let me go to one that is called WACC. I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with WACC. WACC is your weighted average cost of capital. All right, so I'm going to click on open. This is a calculator to enable you to calculate the weighted average cost of capital so that you are able to present value, be it by present value, the cash flow of a company or the dividend of a company to get the fair value. Okay, so this is the WACC calculator, the weighted average cost of capital calculator. And I'm going to make use of a Malaysia example. I don't want to make use of Microsoft. Remember, the instrument name that you need to enter here has to be the mnemonic or the RIC. RIC stands for Refinitive Instrument Code. So at the top, right, if I want Tanaga, I'll key in Tanaga, and then for any stock, you need to key in and you need to find the mnemonic. So the mnemonic is TENA.KL because it's listed in KL. So I can come to here and enter TENA.KL. Don't forget the dot. Hit enter. You can see everything has changed to Malaysia. Okay, using all the Malaysia example and input. And very importantly, this is actually the weighted average cost of capital. The weighted average cost of capital, if you learn the theory, right, it has the weighted cost of debt and weighted average cost of equity. Now, if I scroll down, right, I'm able to see the equity risk premium. Okay, you can see that weighted equity risk premium. So this is the equity risk premium that you will learn in your finance. Okay, the equity risk premium 5.66 has to be added into you can see the ELP, which is here. Equity risk premium has to be added into your weighted average cost of capital. All right, so something very brief that I'd like to share with you. So there are a lot of pre-built templates and calculators here that you can make use of. One last thing, I promise you, this is the last one already. I do apologize that I overshot by 5 minutes. So just bear with me. Very quickly, I'll show you how to download some information. All right. So I want to download, let's say, Tanaga. Okay, you can just spell like Tanaga, and I'm going to put several other stuff like Tesla, Apple. The list can go on, doesn't matter. All right. And then you can put as many stocks as you like. But better still, let me show you something. I'm going to put in KLCI. Zero Hex is a chain for KLCI. Oops. Oh, sorry, it's KLSE. So, sorry, zerohack.klse. This is the chain rig. By chain rig, I means this particular equity index, I want all the constituents. I want all the 30 constituents, all right? So I can have this KLCI. The mnemonic is KLSC, but of course, in front there's a 0 hex and there's a dot, okay? And I like to see year-to-date price performance. So there are many fields that I can choose from. So I like to see year-to-date price performance. I'm going to add this here. So I've chosen this. I'm going to delete this. So first of all, I'll tell the system the instruments that I want. Second of all, I'll tell them the fields that I want. So I want the recommendation. There are a lot of fields that I can choose from here. Okay, I want the recommendation. I want the recommendation label. Okay, and like I said, there are a lot of fields I can choose from here. After I've selected the fields, you can see I've selected only 2 for today. I'm conscious of time. I will go to layout. Layout, I will check whether am I happy with the layout. I can see the fields under column and the instrument under rows. This is a preview. So I can see all the stocks names here. I can see my chosen field, which is year-to-date price change, as well as recommendation. I can also swap this around. Okay, right now the columns is the instrument and the rows is the field. You can see that the rows is the field, the columns are the instrument, but I prefer it the other way. So basically what am I trying to tell you? I'm trying to tell you in layout, you can play around with your layout. Once I'm happy with this, I click on OK. And then finally I click on insert. You are able to quickly download information like this in your Excel. Okay, things like your year-to-date price change, as well as the recommendation. So recommendations is here. Just going to edit a little bit so that you are able to see it better. And the list of stocks, the KLCI constituents are here. Okay, I will just stop right here. My apologies that I overshot by 5 minutes. Right now it's time for question and answer. Does anybody have any questions, please?
Okay, Mr. Wilson. As you can see at the chat section, there were several questions. So for the first, from Juan Mawa, can we download their annual report? Miss, I think you just show it.
Yes, you can download annual report.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can we move to another question from Ahmad? Can we download and analyze the CG structure of all companies in Bursa Malaysia? Example, board size, board independent, board meeting, board committee size, without manually click on every company profile.
Okay. Let me explain this, right? For Ahmad, let me share my screen with you. It's a very good question. I'm going to share with you my screen. So usually for many companies, right now, just now I show you Tanaga was because I entered Tanaga here. Even you can enter Maybank, right? And then it's very troublesome. I know your question. You don't want to analyze the board meeting one by one, right? So what you can do is to actually make use of screener, so that you can analyze all the company in one go. But unfortunately, in screener, you are limited by the fields. So the fields that we have here, right? I don't think it will show you sorry, I beg your pardon. There's board size. Okay, let me try adding board size greater than 0. Okay, so I'm going to remove a recommendation. I'm going to remove market cap, just to show you all the stocks in Malaysia, right? You can see country of exchange and board size. There are only 66 companies with board size greater than 0. Okay, let me go to another. What you wanted was board attendance, right? So I key in board. There's actually attendance here. Okay, true. Okay, there are 48. Let me remove the, I'm going to uncheck board size so that I can see more companies with board attendance. There are 48 companies that have board attendance. So basically, Ahmad, what you can do is come to the screener. This app is called Screener. So in other words, if you go to the search, right, search for screener, enter screener, and then you can come to this button here, click on this button. There are a lot of fields that you can make use of. Okay, you can see there are a lot of fields here. All right. So one of the thing is, I think maybe you go to, yeah, sorry, I'm not sure where board attendance is actually parked. All right, maybe it's under ESG.
Too many category, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of category. I think it's under governance. It should be under ESG governance. You can analyze the corporate structure here. Right, there's a lot of fields under management, under ESG governance management. Okay, if you don't want to drill down one by one, right, you can, the best is to actually type in board or type in the things that you want and you can search from here. Okay, now not every data or fields are available, so this is a very good question. I didn't know we have board data until you asked me this question, because perhaps because due to my experience, not many people ask for these questions. Ask
Maybe
for this
we
data.
maybe we need some another series with you, Wilson, right?
Yeah, can. Yeah, today is just an overview. Let me go to the next question. The next question is, can we as a student access all this information? The answer is yes.
Yes, sure.
Without extract information from annual report. Okay, the answer is yes. I've answered this. Can you show us the economic data by country? The answer is yes. You can find them in two ways. Either you enter the name of the country, let's say Malaysia, right? Malaysia. Let me just go to Malaysia. Okay, and you can go to economics, and then you can go to indicator analysis. Under the tab economics, go to indicator analysis for any country that you want. You can search for the country here, and you can have a lot of economic indicator released by the country. You can see I'm scrolling down for Malaysia. Look at how many we have. So many, you know. Or alternatively, you can go to DS chart. Remember I showed you DS chart? Remember I showed you DS chart or Datastream chart? If you go to key indicators, right, there's a lot of country that you can choose from. So let me say I choose Mexico. So these are the key economic indicators for Mexico. Can you see Mexico? If I don't want Mexico, I want to go back to Malaysia. I can enter Malaysia here. And I can preview all the economic indicators. Let's say private final consumption for Malaysia. You can see this is for Malaysia, right? So what's the next question? So I've shown you a key economic indicator. How to access company historical share price? Okay, for company historical share price, right, what you can do is to go to CHTF, which is financial chart. I know I didn't show you this just now, but you can take note of this CHTF. Okay, so what you can do here, let's say, let me give you an example, right? I have this particular stock. Let me change to something that I'm familiar with, Tanaga. Okay, I can see the historical chart for Tanaga here. I can go to Max. I can click on Max. It's downloading. You can see it's downloading. So I've downloaded the entire chart since 1993 for Tanaga. If I want to compare Tanaga against KLCI, the KLCI mnemonic is KLSE. You can see I type in KLSE here. Okay, I can compare Tanaga performance against the index. So you can see FTSE Bursa KLCI index is downloading. The purple line is the index. And then I can go to the drop down and go to rebase. Okay, I can rebase. Let's say if I want year to date, I can click on year to date here to rebase. If I like this chart a lot, I want to make use in my presentation. What can I do? There's actually export chart. So I'm going to click on export chart, export image. Okay, export image in JPEG. Okay. I can launch my JPEG here. And I can make use of this chart. Can you all see? I've exported this chart from my icon. if I want the data, okay, there's actually, you move your mouse over here, right? You can actually see a data table. So I'm able to see Tanaga or any stocks as well as KLCI rebase data for year to date. Okay, if I don't want rebase data, I just click on this again, it goes back to the original. So yes, I've shown you how to access company historical share price. How to install this Refinitive button in Excel? Good question. Now, I'll show you something. I know some of you who are staying on and some of you, most of you have left because I can see you guys leaving, but not to worry. In case you cannot remember what I've just shared with you, very simple, go to Google. Okay, go to Google and then you search for EIKON training. Let me show you. I'm waiting for Google to load. Okay, this is Google and I'll put in EIKON training. Okay, and under EIKON training, you can see training.refinitive.com website. There are many on-demand videos for you to recap and learn some of the platforms, learn about the platform. So you can come to here, right? You can see ideas generation. This is a video. This is an on-demand video. It's free of charge. Anybody can access this on the website. Any public members can access this on-demand video on the website. Okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't click on accept these terms and conditions. Launch, and you are able to view the on-demand video at your own pace. It's very simple. It's just a video like YouTube.
You'll also be able to identify opportunities, find potential buyers, and predict the actions of existing investors. The company view presents a revamped set of owners.
Okay, so go to this website, like I said, Google for EIKON training. Okay, Google for EIKON training. Let me go back. See EIKON training, and then click on the first website. You can watch all the on-demand video. Next thing is EIKON download. In case you have the password, you have the password from the library, user ID and password from library. Come to download. Refinitive EIKON specs and download. Come to Refinitive EIKON specification and download, and you can download EIKON here. Okay, using the user ID and password that you have. Okay, it shows you the basic installation guide, tells you what's needed. You can download EIKON into your mobile phone. Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, this should be the page. So once again, let me show you how to get it, right? Sorry. You go to Google and go to EIKON login, not download, login. Okay, you go to EIKON login. Come to EIKON login.
Wilson, I think
Yes.
the user here is from your ITM staff and students, so maybe they will access from our library website. We put also the link for the EIKON right there.
Yeah. Yes.
If anybody wants to get the password and the guideline for the downloading the software, you may contact your campus librarian and me also. So we will guide you from the beginning. Okay. Okay. So thank you so much, Mr. Wilson. I think we are running out of time. Yeah, Mr. Wilson. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wilson, for giving such a great informative presentation just now. So, okay, Mr. Wilson, for the ending session, dear ladies and gentlemen, finally we come to the end part of our webinar. Okay, before we end this webinar, it's part very important. Yeah, we need our audience attention to to fill the form of the attendance that will given by our staff, and you can click at the chat section. Okay, there's Mr. Sujarmu paste the link of the attendance. So for this session, we would like you to click the URL and you will get the survey form, and by entering the URL, you need to log in your ID stuff and copy the reference ID so you can fill in the form of the survey. Then you will get the e-certificate. Okay. Okay. So so we come to our end of session. Before we end the session, I would like to invite everybody, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, you can turn on your camera, because we will have photography session with Mr. Wilson. If you don't mind, can everybody turn on your camera, please?
Sorry, Rosalie, just can I ask
Yeah.
ask for a favor, please? I'm going to
Yes.
post my email into the chat, and can you provide me the list of the attendance today, because I need it for my admin.
Yes,
So
sure.
this is my email address. So it's already in chat. It's wilson.teo@lseg.com, lseg.com. Please feel free to send me the attendance list for today. I really appreciate your help.
Sure. I will send you the list of the attendance. No worry, Mr. Wilson. Okay. So I think everybody is ready. Hi, Mr. Wilson. So I just, all right. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, next frame. 1. Okay. 1, 2, 3, smile. All right, thank you to all participants for today. All right, the last word we'd like to thank the presenter, Mr. Wilson, for the informative and interesting presentation for today. It was such a great pleasure to have you with us today, Mr. Wilson. Not to be forgotten, thanks for your participation. Hopefully this training session will be beneficial to everyone who is joining us today. So that's all for today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat menyambut Ramadan dan have a good day to everyone. Bye-bye. See ya.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you, Rosalie. You're very kind.
Thank you so much. I think we need another series with you, Mr. Wilson. It's not enough time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's have another session. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Okay, thank you so much. Stay safe.
Thank you.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Thank you.